Hi, everybody. My name is Jessica, and I'm here to talk to you about myasthenia gravis. I want to thank Yaz and her partners for choosing this disease to talk about today, as it is a rare disorder, and bringing more awareness to it is an awesome thing. All right, so here we go. Question number one. When did I first notice symptoms? I was originally diagnosed in 2011 with generalized MG, but my symptoms started approximately 8 years prior. With it being generalized, my symptoms started in the arms and the legs with the easy fatigue and muscle weakness. Next question is how did the doctors go about diagnosing my disease? I did have the lab work done to check for the antibodies, the acetylcholine receptor antibody and the anti-MuSK antibody. For me, both of those were negative, so I am considered a seronegative myasthenic. Since then, though, just in the recent years, I have come to understand they have discovered two new antibodies that are related to myasthenia, those being the LRP4 antibody and the GRIN antibody. Currently, there is not a commercial test available for those, so I have not been checked to see if those antibodies would show up with me. Next question is, does MG impact my quality of life, and if so, how? Well, yes, the myasthenia has touched every aspect of my life, and it's all related to the easy muscle fatigue, weakness, and lack of stamina. So it has affected my professional life with work, and has affected the things that I enjoy doing in my social time, because I'm limited to how much I can do at one time or how long I can do it. So in that aspect, it did create many issues for me. And did it make changes in my life goals and interests? And of course, yes. And it all relates back to probably my life goals would have been my profession. So it did change how I was going to proceed with those goals. And like I was talking about earlier, interests, yes. So my social activities have changed. I was a real outdoor enthusiast, so I enjoyed the hiking and biking and kayaking and swimming, but I could no longer do those things because of the muscle fatigue. And the muscle fatigue happens very quickly. It could be, just a few steps up some stairs, or a few paddles on the kayak, or a few pedals on the bike, and the muscles would be fatigued to the point where I could not use them. So the next question is have I undergone any surgeries or other procedures as part of MG? The answer is yes, I have. I did go under a series of plasmapheresis a few years back when I had an exacerbation that involved my breathing and swallowing significantly enough that they felt it was an urgency to get that leveled out. And then I also had a thymectomy shortly after that. Transsternal one. I did not have a thymoma, but it was recommended because of my age that it may be beneficial for me. And I would have to say about 6 months after the thymectomy, I did notice that I didn't need as much medication to control the symptoms, and also my recovery time, if I did overdo myself, the recovery time was much shorter. If I give you an example, if I spent the day or a few hours doing an activity like going to the beach or going on a picnic, it would be days before I felt I was strong enough to resume my activities. And then after that 6-month time frame with the thymectomy, usually just maybe a day of rest, or even if I was lucky enough, just a few hours of rest, and I could get back to whatever my new normal activities were. So the next question is, am I taking any immunosuppressants or other medications for my myasthenia? The answer is yes. I do take the Mestinon every 3 hours to control the symptoms. And for me, I also take a dose once or twice during the night to maintain this. I found when I didn't do that, I would wake up having problems with swallowing and would ultimately be choking on my saliva. So I do it around the clock, pretty much every 3 hours for sure during the day, and then, like I said, a dose or two at night to help with that. I also take daily prednisone, and I do IVIG every 3 weeks. and I am currently in my second round of Rituxan, which has proved to be very beneficial and so far the best thing that I have used to help control um, the MG. Next question is do I think MG has affected the way my friends and family interact with me? For family, I would say that's pretty much the same, and I think it's because family's pretty, stuck with you. Friends, for sure, was a big difference. Initially, people had a lot of interest, concern. They seemed compassionate, checking in. But once it became long term, that's when things begin to change. Um, Friends would call and want to do some of the things that we used to do, and either I couldn't do them because it might have been a bad day for me, or the activity itself was something that I could no longer tolerate. So what I noticed is eventually people stop calling and people stop asking to do things with you. So I would say definitely friends. It changed that interaction, and and I lost those friends. But on a good note, being active in the MG community, I've met some wonderful people who understand the way life is and understand, how it feels to have myasthenia. So ultimately, the friends that I have now are what I would consider much better friends, anyways. So the next question is, are you part of any MG community support groups? And yes, I am. I kind of already alluded to that. But I do facilitate an MG support group nearby. We have about 20 to 30 members that participate in that. I'm also active in the Myasthenia Gravis Foundation of America, MGFA for short. So I stay busy with that, and that's been a huge help for me, especially early on in this disease and learning about it, the intricacies of it, the medications, treatments, and also the alterations in lifestyle. So it was a huge emotional support for me, as well as gaining knowledge in this disease. So the next question is am I part of any clinical trials? And unfortunately, I'm not. Being seronegative, I haven't met any of the inclusion criteria for the studies that have been going on or had gone on prior. But I'm hoping that at some point there'll be something for us seronegatives that I can join into. So anyways, I hope everybody got some understanding of myasthenia through that little bit of a talk. I want to thank you for sharing this today and wish you all well. Thank you.